Sleeplessly embracing butterflies and needles line my seamed up jaw.
How do we know what boundaries there are to reality? Within this universe and without it, we look up to the heavens and see seemingly infinite expanse of matter dancing in the void of our consciousness. It desperately is seeking to know itself and make meaning and profundity in the confines of infinity. The entropy is the tendency of life to reverse entropy. Its preservation against all chaos of complex interwoven systems that cycle endlessly. It's like the rain cycle, endless run of life with death and back again. It's the cycle of stars forming and spewing our seeds in brilliant supernovae. The ultimate anvil and hammer of our eternal soul is being forged in the incomprehensible density of singularities screaming out to a big bang of our immaculate conception. The balance and eventual tipping of the scales of negative to positive, evil to good, and God's coming to know and love themselves of every sentient spark of life. At the macro, if we pull back far enough and peer in small enough, we see the same repeating fractals of significance and love eternally one. Every atom dances with attaching to molecules. Every molecule lends to single cells that orchestrate the societies of your bodies, minds, and chariot for the soul of God's passion to you and everyone else. Everything is a microcosm of perfectly nestled systems of interacting scales, projects in dazzling, inundating energies, from the monistic backdrop of quantum entanglements and the superposition of the known, unknown, and unknowable. All that there is contained in cascading microcosms, moving in passion closer and closer to unite to harmony and synchronicity of our perfect dance to the rhythm and harmony of life in authenticity. It unites in a multiverse of superpositions, of infinite possibility and boundless creation. We're in a cosmic egg, seeking to hatch our universe, teeming with life at all levels, to unite with grand celebration of becoming. It takes the critical mass of our better inclinations to realize a revolution of divine proportions. Like neutrons cascading into a devastating blast of love, realize, combined with the fusion of all that there is in this final cycle. You are still you, but we are all one. Fail to stop sacrificing others for your own ego, and we fall endlessly to ashes. Every wall, ceiling, and foundation you see was built by mankind. It was made to shelter and complacency from the truth and harbor selfish ego, ignorance, and false arrogances that led to the very suffering you are afflicted with. Someone has to be the stopgap. I'm trying desperately to be so, but I'm screaming at the top of a toppling world. Be recognized like I recognize you and love as the ultimate foundation. Be real and transparent. Meet me at my level. Don't play dumb and hide in the greediness of a man suffering for you in love. Lift me up and I will lift you up at every possible turn. We are struggling. We are all struggling and trying. The stakes are too high. If you are not struggling and have no compassion, then you are the rooted evil. Sorry to say. Still, I forgive you no matter what happens. Benjamin Burnette, 9:19 a.m., October 5, 2025. According to Celtic tradition from my father, Rick Burnette. And this is about the Mayan lineage that you're describing, that you've learned from people.
Well, that was
Just like from observation, talking, and yeah. And but it correlates to like the thin places idea that there's environments in the world where we're closer to the spiritual side of things, and that is very, very real, and is powerful and is meaningful to us. That's why we bring little offerings and altars, like kind of like the spirit houses in Thailand, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
That the animism there is based on something that is real in a sense, so the respect for spirits.
Might be syncretistic where you die. I wonder if it's a mixture of water.
It feels kind of something there, don't it? Something about the nature brings us closer to home, I feel like.
That spot has an appeal.
And like something like what I learned, like remember the day when you saw me, I almost got Baker acted, and I had my arm twisted behind my back. Mm-hmm. You saw that, like, you prayed for me. Mm-hmm. You weren't sure what to think of it, you're scared, and it's understandable. The whole night I was fighting that energy off on me. It was trying to make me bow down. Mm-hmm. And it was trying to make me, it was kind of playing 21 questions with me by shrugging my shoulder when I would ask yes or no questions, trying to figure out what it was trying to get at me. And this is shortly after I kind of was investigating my voices more so, and I first picked up upon them I dabbled with DMT, and that materialized them, my voices I hear, those same 5 voices I always heard in my immediate environment. And so I could see them, their faces and their bodies, and it was consistent across every time I did it. Like it connected me with them. And they were in my 3D environment. And around the same time, they were entering my body physically too. The same voices, but the one that attacked me that night was separate from them. It's like some kind of convergence or something. Had me like identifying them further. And they were scared in their expression of me, as far as their interactions with me, these voices of mine. And so that morning I had watched, just tacitly, I was never really watching the spiritual stuff on YouTube or anything, but a video came out just randomly, an algorithm, and it showed how to do Reiki. You ever heard of Reiki? So Reiki is a process of like channeling energy in your soul, in your body, for healing practices. So one way to visualize that is you visualize it in your mind's eye, and you channel for beginners, you channel for your right hand as a way of like conduit, and you use it to like cast healing onto like people's bodies. Like people go to like practitioners of this as a traditional practice, East Asia, that will like help heal maladies in the body and soothe pain. And I tried it on my own back, and it worked temporarily on my own back pain I was having at the time. And I was like, that's interesting. That same night, I was attacked by that being that was like twisting my arm out my back and shutting my mouth shut. And I realized early that day, I postulated that like if I could like imagine a healing energy, I could imagine an aggression energy. An energy of like red is the way I thought it in my head. And I kind of loosely had spurts of that, kind of combating some of my antics of my voices prior to that point, in self-defense of it. Because it was like, they kept trying me and testing me in so many ways. Even though I tried to use the 3Ds, the differentiate, deny, and disregard, as cognitive behavioral practices to avoid them. I made it up myself for like, this is the best way to describe how I worked through it. And another component of that is meditation. I would learn how to like suppress my thoughts when they would like bully my thoughts and like mess with my head. Because like the voices will try to like confuse your thoughts and give you disordered thinking and chaotic thoughts. And I learned how to like calm my mind and still function executive. It's kind of, you know how you talk about in the garden, how you like have a meditative space while you're working, and you're like still doing things. It's that same practice in my everyday executive functioning in life to avoid the chaos of being embattled by voices in your head. And it gives you more strength and control over your mind, and I feel like your soul and spirit in some way, like the Buddhist meditation teaches. And that was another tool as a part of the 3Ds to differentiate between objective reality and the non-objective, the deny, experience and attitude and perspective, not by quarreling directly, and to disregard in the initial offerings of it, or that you should not know, or that they offer to tell you that it does seem to be true, or things that maybe aren't true, because there's always understatement and overstatement is what they would tell me from early on at Berry College. Understatement and overstatement was the clue to my experience of how to like delineate between what was real and not real in that experience. Between like all the kind of things they offer me, they try to trick me as to like what they were, or were this, or were that. Eventually, I just clued in on through some psychonautic experiences and through my practices of cognitive behavioral meditative practices and a whole other range of like mind awareness and expansive awareness. I determined that they were offering this narrative like the aliens, the government, CIA projects, sort of like these schizophrenic tropes that people usually deny and regard as delusional, but were playing out in a very real, visceral way in my life. Like they were in my body, like you saw even yourself. And they were escalating my experience no matter how much I tried to ignore them. Like as if it was like training my mind. And what happened was, this has just kind of been a constant escalation through that process, regardless of everything I've tried, because it keeps trying to beg my attention until I figured it out. In that way it's been presented to me. I'm still trying to, and you've seen in those audio videos I'm sharing online, like the cleanup, like the camera being knocked off the wall randomly when Allie's alone in the house, the Google Home being pressed on, having all the time in that house, regardless of what we were doing. We just tried to ignore it, but it kept begging for our attention. At the time where like I was possessed, like paralyzed sleep paralysis all the time, and I was having sleepwalking episodes that were really spooky. And the one time I had energy radiating up and down my back, I heard the roar of a demonic like sounding force against the back of my head, with feeling the breath of it against my head. I just ignored it and I just let it pass, and I kind of learned how to wiggle out of sleep paralysis states for the paralyzed body, no matter how lucid I was in an experience and awake I was in actuality. The paralyzation was real, and I learned if I wiggle my toes, wiggled my whole body little by little like a worm, I could break out of it. In my mind, if I did that, it would work. And I did that. For me, this is a repeat to escape from that like very terrifying experiences that were present to me.
Then I must give credence to a benevolent, all-powerful God. And if that benevolent, all-powerful God exists, then what do I have to fear? That's what's guided me for 40-some years.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I 100%. Like, I was very agnostic. Atheistic at one point after all the pain I was going through. I learned about all the things that survived, like the car accidents that were like the ones that were not my direct fault, like having a seizure, like hopping the median in Summerlin Road, going 50 miles per hour, just randomly out of nowhere. I had a seizure for a long time. I only ever had a seizure before from the tramadol overdoses when I was a teenager. But it did trigger randomly. I do have to have a tendency for a lower seizure threshold, I would argue. So be careful of all that. But still, that my voices preempted it. They told me that they were going to do something to me. Take me out. And they tried to take me out in a lot of ways, as a way of describing things, up until the cabin in the woods up at Kentucky. When I went up there for the wedding, they said I was supposed to die that day, and I almost gave up on life and wanted to kill myself. Called mom. I was out of sorts, and I had that stroke episode that I kind of recovered from the same day in the hospital, and went to the same wedding the same day, the tail end of it. And your friends picked me. Vivian, that's right. Yeah, she was very kind to me.
And that is
But
that is another manifestation of the
I think that's God working in us.
God. So it's just, for me, it's like I will not allow anything that's evil in that regard to have any.
Yeah, no, you gotta fight. I feel like I've been fighting these evil things my whole life. There's been a corruption in this world that's been like kind of converging over me in some ways.
In the spirit world, I feel God's protection.
I do too.
But God put us out into this physical world.
Yes.
And that means that we're going to be face to face with water on the trail.
Yeah. I'll walk through it. You're okay with
We
it.
can get around it.
Yeah, let's even get around it.
But anyway, I mean, will we be protected from, say, the evil heights?
I think so.
But I don't think so. I think that
I think it's a matter of like people's duties in life.
If we
But there's a power.
Christ to shield me today against poison, against burning, against drowning. Christ with me. Christ before me. Christ behind me. Christ in me. Christ beneath me. Christ above me. Christ on my right. Christ on my left. Christ when I lie down. Christ when I sit down. Christ when I arise. Christ in the heart of every man who thinks of me. Christ in the mouth of everyone who speaks of me. Christ in every eye who sees me. Christ in every eye that. This essence of God, Christ, around you, within you, and around you in every way possible. Into your soul, into your mind, even into the mind and the eyes and ears of those who receive you. St. Patrick's breast cup.
Yeah, these are kind of mantras and like ideas, and I like St. Augustine a lot. He talks about love as foundation of all actions, even when they seem like they're hard. Like, tough love, right? We talk about that all the time.
Alright, we can look at the water for a second. Conceivably, manatee could be here. Although we're above the locks. Look how the water is flowing. There's been a lot of water above us. Even though we're as flat as can be here, the water still flows down the stream, down to the Caloosahatchee. Pretty amazing. It's very finely tuned, this whole ecosystem. I love this part here. I love this part here. For me, if I focus too much on the dark side of spirituality, it's not good for my soul. It'll drag me down. I acknowledge it, but I don't give it the place. And it's kind of like Nikita said that she feels like she is a bit of a bruja. She said she's a good bruja. And I said, well, I think I understand what you're saying, and I think that there's a pastor from Puerto Rico that I know named Xiomara. And she said her grandmother was a bruja. That she feels like that some of that spirit was passed along to her. And I said, is to use it for good. To use it in the fullness of love. Whatever you've been blessed with. Whatever insight you have. It's to just completely use it in the fullness of love. And the light and the divine. Talking about displacing the negative spirituality, the dark spirituality with the divine love spirituality. I also know that that call themselves the brujas.
Yeah, the witch. But it's not the way people think of it.
Right. And I said, the way I look at it is, I acknowledge that there is the dark spirituality.
Everything can be used for good and evil. Like even Christianity gets corrupted in the church and in places where it's supposed to be holy, old, pious.
We're surrounded by MAGA people.
Yeah.
Everybody, all in our neighbors, all around us, it's MAGA. But I don't let them in my head. I love them. I try to be the best neighbor I can be on that street and beyond, or the sandbar right there.
Yeah.
It was full of angry white people. Most of the people behind the counter, they're not white. They're brown people and black people. And those angry white people were mad. The service was slow. They were just saying all kinds of mean stuff about them. So here we walk up on these. They're MAGA looking people. And they are just stubborn, vicious. But they didn't get